Hey everybody, recently got a sous vide machine and got a ribeye in there right now because I'm gonna be cooking it on the cast iron. I've done a couple steaks. I did like a chuck steak and that was really good, doing the chuck steak with the sous vide for like 12 hours. I've done a ribeye and I wasn't overly impressed, but it was better than just doing it on the skillet by itself. But I did it because I come back from lunch. I did it I think usually the recommended is 2 hours, which is what I've done before, but although this is a thicker steak, but I did it at 130 degrees for probably 4.5 hours just from being at work. And so I'm getting the cast iron hot now. I'm just gonna sear it on both sides and maybe make a little bit of broth out of the extra liquid in here, just like literally boil it down a little bit. I am gonna use seasoning. Montreal. Just each time I've been doing carnivore, sometimes what I struggle with the most is meat aversion, and I found 1, ribeye, and 2, grilling it are like my favorite. I don't get meat aversion that way, eating once a day. The problem is when I start to introduce other meats or multiple meals a day, then I start to get meat aversion. And when I'm not cooking on the grill, so I'm hoping that the sous vide plus getting it in the cast iron skillet is enough that I enjoy it, and this is like the way I can cook it regularly. So I'm gonna get that all prepped up. Okay, so I think one of the mistakes I made last time is that I didn't properly dry the steak off, because it gets so it's got a lot of liquid on the outside of it with the sous vide, so then it doesn't sear properly, and then just too much fat I think last time. So a lot of liquid, so I'm just gonna boil that. And dry my steak off, season it. So lately I've been doing, I do like 4 or 5 days on carnivore, and then I'll kind of get meat aversion, or I'll crave carbs, or a multitude of other reasons, and I'll end up eating carbs for like a day, and then I'll go back on carnivore for 5 days. And it's just not something I want to continue to do like that. I don't know that it's the best thing that I could be doing. I'd like to just stay on it. So, try to move this to a decent spot. So, I'm just trying out different things that I'd like to work. Honestly, what I need is a grill. I have a flat stone, not a grill, and I like the flat stone, but it just doesn't quite do it for the flavor that I want. This should be good and hot, hopefully not too hot. That first. I've also been doing things like chuck roasts and Wow, chuck roast. I've been mainly doing chuck roast because they're fatty enough, and I quite enjoy it, but it's not something I can do every day. I don't love cooking inside because of all the smoke. And it's going to be like a daily thing, then I think it should release when it's ready. That looks better than last time. I gotta get that fat nice and brown, because when it's not, it's just so much harder to eat. The goal in the future would just be salt. But for now, I'll take whatever works. But the chuck roasts are a lot cheaper, and it's nice being able to store them, heat them up whenever. But I just hit a point where I couldn't do them anymore. The ribeye is a lot more expensive, but it's my favorite. Depending on how I'm feeling, what I might do is mainly ribeye, and then when I am craving it, do like a chuck roast. But what I want most of all is just to succeed. Feel good. So whatever gets me there. This did not do what I wanted it to. I've done it before. It's kind of grody looking. I've done it with just some tapioca starch and some seasoning, but I didn't want to do that today, so that's probably just ruined. I don't know. Sure doesn't look good. I thought about getting an air fryer again too, because I always loved doing steaks in the air fryer. But maybe that's what I need to make the broth out of. See what it is. Okay, so instead of broth, I just poured that cooked seasoning over it. Now I'm just gonna well, I guess I should let it rest a little. So we'll let it rest first. I don't know if it's unrelated to carnivore or the same, but I found that ever since I started doing this, I've been drinking like 1.5 gallons of water to feel normal, and I'm not. It's also partially been since I moved here where it's drier, but it's just, it seems like drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day to feel normal. It's kind of odd. It's a bit too much. That was just like all fat. All fat. So I just got this at Costco. Bulk. I like a thicker cut. It's pink. It's good. Maybe thicker than I thought. But really good. So I did about 2 pounds because if this is my only meal of the day, I want it to be a pretty good meal. And then my wife will have some too. But the fat I've usually been having a hard time getting down, but then I cut it really thin. And it tastes great right now. I started to do this, I fasted all day. I just find I went on a long detour of not fasting all day and doing carnivore because I was just watching carnivore videos and everybody talked about it. And eating multiple times a day, especially in the beginning, and you know, it shouldn't be hard to fast and all these different things, and kind of got sucked into that. And at the end of the day, yes, fasting is difficult, but I feel way better. It makes me feel good. And if out of all my day, the hardest thing is to just like not eat, I'll take it. It kind of makes the rest of the day easier. And hopefully, you know, eating this way this time, it'll maybe be a little bit easier. I know staying hydrated helps a lot. And then I don't know, there's been a ton of videos going around about the benefits of creatine for the brain. So the one that finally got me was for sleep deprivation, and I just find like working a full-time job, trying to do my own stuff like this, I seem to not get as much sleep as I would like to, a lot. And so I took my first 10 milligrams yesterday, and I plan on continuing and just seeing if that helped. Maybe a little bit of placebo, but it seemed to help a lot today. I wasn't planning on, I went in to work early, so I didn't get as much sleep as usual. I took it yesterday, and I feel the best I felt in a long time. And I had 1 cup of coffee, and that's I had coffee back in for quite a while now, and I've I think I've come back to the conclusion that it's not working for me. It seems to make carnivore worse. I seem to be much more like fight or flight response. I seem to be like almost angrier when I'm drinking coffee and working, so I might just save it for the rare occasion if we're going out and that's like the one thing I can do with everyone is order a cup of coffee, or if I gotta get up really early, maybe I'll have one then, but we'll see. Always feel amazing after a ribeye. That was awesome. So, I want to talk a little bit. So, the first thing I'm breaking my fast with is gonna be a ribeye. Well, I just did. But then if I'm still hungry, I don't know, I'll call them cheat snacks. Things like that to me are extremely easy to eat because they have so much flavor, they have so much other stuff going on. But they're not enough to like base carnivore around really at all. And they're not fatty enough either. So I don't like to focus on those things, and I did this the other day, but if I eat those things first and then I try to eat something that's more just like meat and salt, can't do it. It's really that way with any processed food though, right? Like if you eat a bunch of donuts, you don't really want your dinner, you just want more donuts. So for me, that's how I feel about it, is that those are a snack, and if I snack on those before dinner, then I'm not going to be hungry for what I actually need. So, anyway.